Stop. Before you spend that 5-cent coin, look closely. Because one tiny detail on a Monticello Thomas Jefferson nickel could make it worth an astonishing fortune. Today, we reveal the top 3 rare Jefferson nickels that collectors are hunting for. You might have one hiding in your pocket right now. What if I told you that right now, somewhere in your house, possibly in a jar on your dresser, a coffee can in your garage, or buried in the bottom of your pocket change, there could be a 5-cent coin worth nearly $600. Not a gold coin, not a silver dollar, a nickel, a coin so unassuming that you have probably spent dozens of them without a second thought. But here is the uncomfortable truth that separates the financially aware from everyone else. Every single day, ordinary people are unknowingly handing over small fortunes for a cup of coffee, a pack of gum, or parking meter change. They are the spenders. They see a coin and they see 5 cents. But the collectors, the ones who pay attention, the ones who know what to look for, they see something entirely different. They see hidden wealth. They see an asset hiding in plain sight. And today, we are going to talk about one of the most elusive, most misunderstood, and potentially most valuable nickels you could ever hope to find in circulation. The 1974 no-mint Mark Jefferson nickel with a very specific, very costly error. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what to look for, why this coin is practically a ghost in the numismatic market, and why a 5-cent piece could be worth more than some people's entire pocket change collection. So before you spend another nickel, you need to watch this. Let us start with the most basic fact that trips up almost everyone. In 1974, the United States Mint in Philadelphia produced over 600 million nickels. To be exact, 601,752,000 of them. That is an almost incomprehensible number of coins. They were struck in the billions across all mint facilities, with Denver adding another 277 million and San Francisco producing over 2.5 million proof specimens. So when you find a 1974 nickel with no mint mark, which is the standard for Philadelphia, your first instinct is probably to think it is common. And you would be right. It is common. Millions of them are still out there. They are worth exactly 5 cents in worn condition, maybe 10 to 20 cents if they are nicer. But here is where it gets interesting. Here is where the spender gets separated from the collector. Because among those 600 million coins, there exists a tiny fraction, a microscopic sliver of the mintage, that carries a minting error so subtle, so easy to overlook, that most people who have held one probably never even realized what they were looking at. Now stop for a moment. Literally pause this video. Go grab that jar of change you have been ignoring for months. Go ahead. I will wait. Look at the 1974 nickels if you have any. Turn them over. Look at the reverse, the side with Monticello. Look at the steps leading up to the building. Do you see full, crisp, distinct step lines? Or are they mushy, indistinct, partially filled in? This single detail, this one visual cue, is the difference between a 5-cent coin and a potential payday. Because the 1974 Philadelphia nickel, the one with no mint mark, is incredibly difficult to find with what the grading services call a full steps designation. The full steps designation, often abbreviated as FS on a grading label, means that the steps on Monticello are struck with such clarity and completeness that at least 5 full step lines are visible and distinct. It sounds simple, but for a 1974 nickel it is anything but. The dies used that year, the striking pressure, the sheer volume of production, all of it conspired to make well-struck Monticello steps a genuine rarity. Most 1974 nickels have weak strikes. The steps are blurred, faded, or just plain missing. The coin was not designed to be perfect. It was designed to be mass-produced. And mass production means imperfection. But the full steps variety is just the beginning. There is something even more elusive, something that sends a chill down the spine of every serious Jefferson nickel collector. There are specific error varieties from 1974 that are so rare, so infrequently seen, that they have become the stuff of legend. We are talking about double dies, repunched mint marks, off-center strikes, and planchet errors. The 1974 nickel error list is short, but what it lacks in length it makes up for in sheer value. Off-center strikes with 40 to 60% of the design shifted off the edge, while still leaving the date visible, can be worth anywhere from $55 to over $200. Broad strikes, where the coin is struck without the retaining collar, creating a wider, flatter appearance, can fetch $15 to $50 or more. But the real money, the kind of money that makes your heart skip a beat, comes from the truly unusual errors. There is a documented 1974 Jefferson nickel that was struck on a struck 1973 Jefferson nickel. This incredible mint error, a coin struck over another coin, was featured in the book 100 Greatest U.S. Error Coins. In 2010, the authors valued that unique specimen at $15,000 to $17,500. That is not a typo. A nickel worth more than a used car. Another 1974 nickel, double-struck and rotated in the collar between strikes, was valued in the same range. These are the unicorns. These are the coins that make collectors stay up at night searching through rolls. But there is another error, one that is more accessible, more likely to be found in your pocket change, and yet still incredibly valuable. The 1974 no-mint mark nickel with a double die obverse. A coin where the date, the lettering, or the portrait shows clear, distinct doubling. While many people mistake machine doubling, which is flat and shelf-like and worth zero premium, for a true double die, the genuine article is raised, crisp, and carries a serious premium. Some Jefferson nickels from the 1960s and 1970s with these features have fetched as much as $5,000 or more at auction. And this brings us to the heart of the matter. The coin that everyone is talking about. The 1974 no-mint mark nickel that recently sold for $590. Now, let us be very clear about what $590 means in the world of coins. For a modern nickel, a coin that was struck in the hundreds of millions, a 5-cent piece that you could literally find in your spare change, a sale price of nearly $600 is extraordinary. To put that in perspective, a typical 1974 nickel in uncirculated condition might sell for $1 to $36. A full steps example can reach up to $4,140 in the highest grades, but those are the absolute cream of the crop, the coins that have been professionally graded and verified. The $590 sale represents a sweet spot. It is a coin that is rare enough to command serious attention, but not so rare that it is completely out of reach for the average collector or even the casual searcher. It is the kind of coin that could be sitting in your change jar right now. The kind of coin that someone, somewhere, probably spent without ever knowing what they had. And that is the beauty and the tragedy of coin collecting. The value is there, but it is invisible to the untrained eye. So how do you spot one? What are you actually looking for? First, you need to understand the mint mark situation. For 1974, the Philadelphia Mint did not use a mint mark. So a 1974 nickel with no mint mark is normal. It is the standard issue. Do not dismiss it simply because it lacks a letter. The Denver Mint used a small d, located on the obverse, just below the date near Jefferson's ponytail. The San Francisco Mint used an S, primarily for proof coins. But the no-mint mark coin, the Philadelphia issue, is the one you need to scrutinize. Look at the date. Is it clear? Is there any doubling? Look at the letters in Liberty and In God We Trust. Are they sharp? Is there any extra thickness or shadowing? Look at Jefferson's profile. Is there any evidence of die cracks or cuts? And most importantly, look at the reverse. Look at Monticello. Look at those steps. If you see 5 full, distinct, uninterrupted steps, you have something special. If you see any doubling on the steps or the lettering, you have something even more special. And if you see any dramatic errors, an off-center strike, a broad strike, a double die that is unmistakable, you need to get that coin into a protective holder immediately and consider having it professionally graded. The current market for Jefferson nickels is surprisingly hot. While the vast majority of coins are worth face value, the error market and the high-grade market are thriving. Collectors are paying premiums for quality, for rarity, and for the thrill of the hunt. The 1974 no-mint mark nickel, particularly in full steps or with a significant error, is one of the most sought-after modern coins in the series. The PCGS and NGC price guides show that even modestly graded examples can bring in real money. A 1974 D nickel in MS67 full steps is tied for the finest certified, eagerly awaiting inclusion in advanced collections. The 1974 P nickel, the no-mint mark variety, is common up to about MS65. But above that, the population drops off dramatically. There are no known MS-67 examples or higher. That scarcity drives prices. That scarcity creates opportunity. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you actually looked at your pocket change? I mean, really looked at it. Not just glanced at the denomination, but examined the details, the condition, the subtle variations that separate a common coin from a collectible one. If you are like most people, the answer is probably never. And that is exactly why these coins are still out there. That is exactly why you have a chance. The vast majority of the population is walking around with blinders on, seeing only face value, completely oblivious to the hidden wealth in their hands. But you are not most people. You are watching this video. You are educating yourself. You are becoming one of the collectors. And that knowledge, that awareness, is the most valuable tool you have. The market trends are clear. Error coins are in demand. High-grade modern coins are in demand. The Jefferson Nickel series, long overlooked in favor of more glamorous coins like the Morgan Dollar or the St. Gaudens Double Eagle, is experiencing a renaissance. Collectors are discovering that the series is rich with variety, rich with history, and rich with potential. The 1974 no-mint mark nickel is a perfect example. It is a coin that most people ignore, but those who know what to look for are quietly building impressive collections and, in some cases, making impressive profits. The $590 sale is not an anomaly. It is a sign of things to come. It is a signal that the market is waking up to the value of these coins. So here is your call to action. Do not wait. Do not put this off. Go through your change. Go through your jars, your drawers, your old coin collections. Look for 1974 nickels. Look for the no-mint mark variety. Look at those steps. Look for doubling. Look for errors. And if you find something that looks promising, do not clean it. Do not rub it. Do not try to make it look better. Cleaning a coin destroys its value. Just put it in a safe place and consider having it authenticated and graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. The investment in grading, typically $30 to $50, is well worth it if the coin turns out to be valuable. And even if it does not, the education, the experience, the thrill of the hunt, that is priceless. Remember, every single day, people are finding valuable coins in the most unexpected places. A 1974 nickel with a rare error could be sitting in your pocket right now. Could be in that pile of loose change on your nightstand. Could be in the cup holder of your car. The only way to know is to look. The only way to find treasure is to search. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of the 1974 no-mint mark Jefferson Nickel, if you want to learn about more ultra-rare coins that could be hiding in your pocket change, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Because in our next video, we are going to reveal another coin. One that looks completely ordinary but could be worth thousands of dollars. A coin that has been overlooked by millions of people for decades. You will not want to miss it. You are holding a coin in your hand. It is heavy with the weight of history, a simple 5-cent piece from 1984. But what if I told you that this seemingly ordinary nickel could be the key to unlocking a hidden fortune? What if the change jingling in your pocket right now is not just spare metal but a potential ticket to a $600 windfall? Welcome to the world of numismatics, where the line between pocket change and life-changing wealth is thinner than you think. Today, we are going on a treasure hunt. We are going to uncover the ghost of the 1984 P-mint mark Monticello Thomas Jefferson Nickel and reveal why this coin is the ultimate symbol of spender versus collector. Join me and let's find out if you have been throwing away a small fortune. Every single day, millions of Americans go about their routines, blissfully unaware of the silent, metallic fortunes passing through their hands. You grab a coffee, pay with a $10 bill, and shove the change into your pocket without a second thought. A nickel here, a penny there, it's just pocket change, right? This is the mindset of the spender. To them, a coin is merely a tool for transaction. A piece of metal worth exactly its face value. But you are different. You are here because you understand that true wealth is not just about earning money. It is about recognizing its potential. It is about having the collector's eye that sees the extraordinary hiding within the ordinary. And right now, in a forgotten corner of your home, in a dusty jar on a shelf, or buried under receipts in your car's cup holder, there might be a coin that could shift your entire financial perspective. Imagine this. In 1984, the United States Mint in Philadelphia, marked by the small P on the coin, cranked out over 746 million of these Jefferson nickels. That is an astronomical number. Statistically, you have a good chance of having one. But here is where the story gets interesting. Statistics are for the masses. Hidden within that sea of common coins are a few rare anomalies. Minting errors that transform a 5-cent piece into a highly sought-after collector's item, some worth hundreds of dollars. This is the spender versus collector contrast. The spender sees a nickel. The collector sees an opportunity. Which one are you? Pause for a moment. Take a deep breath. Now look at your pocket change, your jar, your collection. Pattern interrupt right now. Stop everything and just look. Do you see a 1984 Jefferson nickel? Do you feel that small thrill of potential? That is the first step. That is the FOMO, the fear of missing out, setting in. Because while you are listening to this, countless others are checking their own change, and the window of opportunity to find this treasure is closing. The market is heating up, and every day, more of these coins are lost, spent, or melted down. Are you going to be the one who lets this opportunity slip through your fingers? Let's get technical. Why is this specific coin a ghost in the market? It all comes down to the minting process and the errors that can occur. The 1984 P. Jefferson nickel is a beautiful coin, featuring the iconic portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his famous Virginia home, Monticello, on the reverse. A standard circulated 1984 P nickel is worth, at best, a few cents over its face value. But a coin in pristine, uncirculated condition, especially one graded MS65 or higher, can be worth significantly more. However, the real value, the kind that makes collectors' hearts race, is found in the errors. The first major error to look for is the double die error. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin is impressed with the design multiple times in slightly misaligned positions. You will find this on both Philadelphia and Denver mint coins. On the obverse, look closely at Jefferson's chin, his bow tie, and his earlobe. Under magnification, you should see a distinct doubling effect. A minor 1984 double die obverse, DDO, nickel can sell for $20 to $50, while well-preserved examples with dramatic doubling can fetch $75 to $100 or more. But the real treasure lies on the reverse. The double die reverse, DDR, error shows doubling on the back of the coin, particularly on the word Monticello and 5 cents. The columns of Monticello often display the most visible doubling effects. These errors can be subtle, requiring a 10x loop or microscope to fully appreciate. A strong, well-defined 1984 DDR nickel can push values to $75 to $150 in higher grades. There is even a rare combination of a strong DDO and DDR, sometimes referred to as a strong DDO-DDR rare find, which can sell for around $33 on platforms like eBay. However, the errors that command the highest premiums are the most dramatic. Imagine a nickel struck on a dime planchet. This is a wrong planchet error, caused by a dime blank being mistakenly sorted into the nickel hopper. These coins have a slightly different diameter and weight than a standard nickel. A 1984 P nickel struck on a dime planchet in MS65 condition recently sold for more than $400. Even more astonishing, a 1984 P Jefferson nickel double struck on a dime planchet in MS64 condition sold for almost $1,500. Then there are the off-center strikes, where the planchet is not centered during the striking process, resulting in a design that is not centered. An off-center 1984 P Jefferson nickel in MS65 condition has sold for over $800. And let's not forget the cut error, a damaged area or die break on the coin. A 1984 P Jefferson nickel with a cut error on the obverse recently sold for $150.02 after 14 bids. Pattern interrupt. Think about that for a second. A coin worth 5 cents just sold for $150. That is a 300,000% return on investment. What could you do with an extra $150? What about $400? Or even $1,500? This is not just about finding a coin. It is about finding financial freedom one nickel at a time. So what does this all mean for you? It means that the potential for hidden wealth is real, and it is sitting in your pocket change right now. The 1984p Jefferson nickel is a prime example of how a common coin can become a valuable asset. But you need to know what to look for. You need to be the collector, not the spender. Here is your call to action. First, get a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Second, empty your coin jar, your piggy bank, your car's ashtray. Look for every 1984 Jefferson nickel you can find. Examine them under good lighting. Look for the P mint mark on the obverse, to the right of Jefferson's ponytail. Then, inspect the reverse. Are there clear, uninterrupted horizontal lines on the staircase of Monticello? If so, you might have a full steps coin which can be worth over $350. Look for doubling on the letters and the building's columns. Look for off-center strikes or any other unusual characteristics. If you find something that looks promising, do not spend it. Get it professionally graded by a service like PCGS or NGC. This certification is the key to unlocking its true market value. The market is hot right now. Collectors are actively seeking these error coins, and the prices are only going up. Pattern interrupt. Imagine the feeling of sending a seemingly ordinary nickel to a grading service and getting back a certificate that confirms it is worth hundreds of dollars. That is not just a win. It is a validation of your collector's eye. It is a step towards achieving that wealthy lifestyle you desire. But remember, the 1984p Jefferson nickel is just the beginning. It is a gateway drug to the world of numismatics, a world where hidden treasures are waiting to be discovered in the most unlikely places. This coin is a testament to the fact that wealth is not always about what you earn. It is about what you notice. Your journey starts now. Do not let this moment pass you by. The coins are out there and they are calling your name. Will you answer? Cliffhanger. And if you think the 1984p nickel is exciting, just wait until you hear about the ultra-rare 1943 copper penny that can be worth over $100,000. That is a story for another time. But for now, get searching. Your fortune is waiting. You are standing in line at the grocery store. The person in front of you pays with a crumpled dollar bill and a handful of change. You hear the clink of coins hitting the counter. Among them is a nickel. It looks just like any other nickel. Dull, unassuming, easily overlooked. The cashier scoops it up and drops it into the register. That nickel in that moment is worth exactly 5 cents. It buys nothing. Changes nothing. But what if I told you that depending on the path that nickel took before it landed on that counter, its value could be not 5 cents, not $5, not $5,000, but over $500,000? What if I told you that the difference between pocket change and a life-changing fortune is a microscopic detail that you could walk right past? That is the story of the 1985p mint mark Monticello Thomas Jefferson Nickel. It is a story of a coin that is a ghost in the market, a treasure hiding in plain sight, and it may be sitting in your jar of loose change right now. This is the difference between a spender and a collector. A spender sees a coin as a tool. A collector sees a coin as a piece of history, a work of art, and a potential asset that can outperform stocks. Right now, you are going to learn the secrets that separate the two. And before this video is over, you might just find yourself scrambling to check your own pocket change. Let me ask you a question. When is the last time you actually looked at a nickel? I mean, really looked at it beyond just confirming it's the right size for the parking meter. You have probably handled thousands of them in your life. You have dropped them in vending machines, left them as tips, or let them collect dust in a jar on your dresser. But here is the reality. The 1985p Jefferson Nickel is one of the most common coins ever produced by the United States Mint. With a staggering mintage of over 647 million coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint alone, they are everywhere. They are in bank rolls. They are in cash registers. They are in your pocket right now. And that is exactly what makes the rare ones so extraordinarily valuable. Because out of those 647 million coins, a tiny, almost impossibly small fraction contain errors that make them unique. They are the needle in a haystack, except the haystack is the size of a small country. If you are like most people, you have probably spent a 1985 nickel without a second thought. You might have even spent a fortune without knowing it. So, the question is not whether you have a 1985 nickel. Statistically, you almost certainly have or have had one. The question is, did you look at it before you let it go? That is the FOMO. That is the fear that what you gave away for a stick of gum could have been a down payment on a house. But don't worry, it is not too late. There are still billions of coins in circulation, and the hunt is still on. Now, let's get into the confrontation, the deep technical details that separate the ordinary from the extraordinary. To understand why a 1985 nickel could be worth $500,000, you have to understand the minting process and where it can go horribly, beautifully wrong. The first thing you need to know is the mint mark. In 1985, the Philadelphia Mint used a fairly large P mint mark, located on the obverse side of the coin, just to the right of Jefferson's ponytail. This is a key identifier. But the real magic and the real money lies in the errors. The first major category of errors involves the strike itself. Perfect coin is struck dead center with full details. But in 1985, the dies at the Philadelphia Mint were often worn out, leading to what collectors call mushy strikes, where the fine details of Monticello are blurry. This is where the term full steps comes into play. On the reverse of the coin, there are steps leading up to Monticello. Professional graders look for 5 or 6 distinct, uninterrupted lines on these steps. Because the dies were often worn, a clean, full set of steps is incredibly rare. A standard mint state 66 nickel might be worth around $30, but the same grade with full steps could fetch hundreds of dollars at auction. That is a massive jump in value for a detail you need a magnifying glass to see. But that is just the beginning. The true legends of the coin world are the error coins. These are not just coins with weak strikes. These are coins that were minted wrong. Let's talk about the major errors. First, there are off-center strikes. This happens when the planchet, the blank metal disc, is improperly positioned between the dies during striking. The result is a coin where part of the design is missing, and a blank, curved area appears on the opposite side. The most desirable off-center errors are the dramatic ones, where the date and mint mark remain fully visible. These can sell for several $100s. Then there are broad strikes, which occur when the retaining collar fails, allowing the planchet and design to expand outward during the strike. You get a coin that is wider than it should be, with a flattened, mushy rim. Then there are clipped planchets, where overlapping metal strips during the blanking process remove a portion of the planchet before it is struck. You will see a crescent-shaped clip on the edge of the coin. These are interesting, but they usually trade in the $30 to $60 range. But we are talking about a $500,000 coin. So we need to talk about the errors that are truly rare. One of the most famous is the wrong planchet error. This occurs when a planchet intended for another denomination is mistakenly struck with different dies. A confirmed 1985 P. Jefferson Nickel struck on a Lincoln cent planchet, which is smaller and made of a different copper composition, graded MS62RB by NGC, realized a remarkable $1,725 at auction. That is a coin that looks like a penny but has the design of a nickel. Imagine finding that in your change. Then there are double strikes, where a coin is struck more than once in the coining press. A documented 1985 P. Jefferson Nickel with a dramatic second strike approximately 80% off-center, graded MS64 by NGC, sold for $99. But the real unicorn, the coin that could potentially reach that $550,000 mark, is a combination of factors. It is a coin that is not just an error but a perfect storm of errors. It would likely be a coin struck on the wrong planchet with a significant off-center strike, and possibly even a double die error, all in a pristine, uncirculated condition with full steps. These coins are so rare that they are almost mythical. They are the ghosts I mentioned earlier. They exist in theory, and a few have been confirmed to exist, but they are so scarce that every single one that surfaces becomes a major event in the numismatic world. The 1985 P nickel is a ghost because it is a coin that is simultaneously incredibly common and impossibly rare. It is a coin that could be in anyone's pocket, yet the specific combination of errors that would make it a fortune is so unlikely that finding one is like winning the lottery. It is the ultimate treasure hunt. Now let's talk about the market. The value of these coins is not just theoretical. There is real red-hot demand driving these prices. In January of 2024, a 1985 PMS 67 Plus full steps nickel sold for a whopping $9,066 at a Heritage Auctions listing. That is for a coin that is not even an error, just a perfect example with full steps. Imagine what a coin with a major error would bring. The market for high-grade and error Jefferson Nickels is stronger than ever. Collectors are paying premium prices for coins that were once considered too common to be valuable. The 1985 P nickel, with its massive mintage, represents a massive opportunity. Because there are so many of them out there, the odds of finding a gem are low, but the potential payoff is astronomical. This is the ultimate hidden wealth coin. It is not about buying a rare coin from a dealer. It is about finding it yourself, in your pocket change, in a bankroll, or in that old jar in your closet. It is about the thrill of the hunt and the possibility of turning 5 cents into a small fortune. The current market heat is undeniable. Auction records are being broken. Online forums are buzzing with stories of incredible finds. The time to start looking is now because every day, these coins are getting older, more worn, and harder to find in pristine condition. The window of opportunity is closing. So what is the call to action? It is simple. Go check your change. Right now. Pause this video, go grab that jar of coins you have been meaning to take to the bank, and start looking. Look for the P mint mark. Look for the date. Look at the steps on Monticello. Are they sharp and distinct? Or are they mushy and blurred? Look at the edge of the coin. Is it perfectly round? Or is there a clip? Look at the surface. Does it look like a normal nickel? Or does it look a little off? Is it the wrong color? Is the design off-center? You are looking for anything that deviates from the norm. If you find something that looks strange, do not spend it. Do not clean it. Cleaning a coin can destroy its value. Instead, do your research. Use a coin identifier app to get a preliminary assessment. Take high-quality photos. And consider sending it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. The cost of grading is a small investment compared to the potential payoff. Imagine sending in a coin you found in your pocket change and getting back a slab that says MS64 or error and a value that changes your life. That is the dream. That is what drives collectors. That is what this is all about. You are now armed with the knowledge to spot a fortune. You know what to look for. You know why it is valuable. You know the market is hot. The only thing left to do is to start looking. The 1985 P nickel is out there. Could be in your pocket, in your car, or in that old coin jar you have been ignoring for years. The difference between you and the person who finds it is simply awareness. You are now aware. You are now part of the hunt. And who knows? The next nickel you pick up could be the one that changes everything. This is not just about coins. It is about the idea that wealth can be found in the most unexpected places. It is about paying attention to the details that everyone else ignores. It is about seeing the potential in the ordinary. So, get out there and start searching. Your treasure is waiting. And if you think that is incredible, wait until you hear about the 1969 South Lincoln Center with the double die obverse. That coin is so rare that only a handful are known to exist, and they have sold for over $1 million. It is a story of a coin that was almost impossible to find, a coin that was hidden in plain sight for decades, and a coin that turned a simple penny into a life-altering fortune. That is a story for another time. But for now, keep looking at your change. Keep hunting. And never, ever underestimate the power of pocket change.